Hello and welcome to the full moon and lunar eclipse in Scorpio ancient tarot reading. Maybe you have seen some of the full moon readings in the past, but I work with the Krabli Tehoti, sorry, Mercury's been messing with my speech, the Crowley Tehote Tarot. And I absolutely love that deck. And the energies these last couple of months have really been incredible. Now, I will apologize, I haven't shared the last couple of readings. My travels I didn't pull it off successfully. And the progression of the energies, many of the cards are coming back, but in a different place. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But this is the first time going live. So thank you to those of you who have joined live. Maybe this will be something we do each and every month, make it a live Zoom call. I have already shuffled in the energy of the full moon, and I have drawn the cards, and I'm also going to be consulting some of the books that I consult. I don't always remember which planet the card is associated with and that kind of thing, so I may just refer to some of the books, but we're just going to go with an intuitive reading. I also want to show you my Sekhmet. The name of this instrument has escaped me, but the energy of Sekhmet was also brought in, and many other. And I'd like to start with just taking a deep grounding breath. Even if you're watching this later, take a deep inhale. Exhale, grounding and centering yourself with Mother Earth. Inhale deeply again. Exhale, connecting to your higher self, your consciousness, the pure white light of consciousness, the cosmos, the universe, calling in your ancestors, guides, guardian angels to direct you to best utilize and work with the ever-present, intensifying, and beautiful energies that are supporting humanity's ascension process at this time. And we'll just go ahead and dive right in. So the Celtic Cross is a 10-card reading. The card in the first position represents the basic energy, the energy of this eclipse. Now the eclipse, just to jump in just a little bit, you may or may not know, it's an eclipse and full moon in the sign of Scorpio. Lunar eclipse is what occurs during the full moon. 2 weeks ago, we had the solar eclipse during the new moon in Aries. The eclipses occur where the moon's nodes are. The nodes of the moon have been on the Taurus-Scorpio axis for the past 18 months. And it's one of many big shifts that we're experiencing. This isn't a big shift in the scale of things. This occurs every 18 months. So we're currently shifting into, and they go backwards through the zodiac. So we're shifting into the Aries Libra axis, which is why we had our first eclipse in the sign of Aries 2 weeks ago. This energy, the Scorpio eclipse, we had the last Scorpio eclipse in November with the new moon. I'm 99% sure that one was a solar eclipse in Scorpio with the new moon in November, for sure. And so those energies, so this is actually, it's very far reaching. These readings are usually about a month of energy until the next full moon, but this one goes well into the next 6 months and beyond. So, be thinking about what you're birthing into the world. So the moon is at 14 degrees of Scorpio. The sun is at 14 degrees of Taurus. The sun is conjunct Uranus, which means the moon is opposing both Uranus and the sun. And the moon is also really reflecting very strongly the sun when it's full, and also reflecting Uranus. Uranus is unexpected, big changes, big shakeups. It's Wajet in shamanic Egyptian astrology, who is the great grandmother Cobra goddess. She's incredibly loving, but she's incredibly fierce as well. So just be ready for unexpected changes. And when we surrender to the divine order, divine timing. Know that we are held so lovingly and that everything will be okay. It is so much easier to navigate the changes. And when you're on a course of personal and planetary transformation, you know, going through, diving into your shadow, realizing the dark, the light, no difference. Our shadow is not something we were ever to be ashamed of. The powers that have been made us feel that way. Our shadow can be parts of ourselves that we've disowned, abandoned, loathed and hated sometimes, and been ashamed of. And all that we need to do for shadow work is to uncover, dive in, discover, accept, acknowledge, love, and integrate. So that's a lot of what the Uranus work does. So now on to our reading. The first card in the position of the general energy is the Three of Pentacles. This card represents Mars and Capricorn, and it represents, the pentacles are the earth element, and this is the material realm. You can see that these three pentacles are at the base of a pyramid. If you were to turn it this way, you know, there would be this pyramid coming up. So it's basically like the foundation is set. It's in a pyramid. The energy is moving forward. The number 3 in numerology is the idea has been fertilized. And now this card is called works. So it's like everything is in progress. Keep working little by little, step by step, your goals and our purpose, our soul's purpose and our collective purpose. What I consider to be the main agenda is humanity's ascension, little by little, step by step. We're on the right track. So this card also represents the 3 in general. I'm going to mute you. Thank you for joining us, Denise, but I'm going to mute you. And so the idea has been fertilized. That's 3 in general. In the realm of the earth element, the pentacles, it means the crystallization of forces. And think about that even within yourself. As being 70% water, we are sacred geometry and we are crystallizing. That is a part of the ascension process. We are crystalline, incredible plasma beings. And this first card, the basic energy, is works. Also really great for springtime because we're typically very active anyway in springtime. We're ready for spring cleaning, planting, harvesting, socializing, coming out of our caves, things like that. The second card in the Celtic cross is the energy furthering or crossing the first card. And we couldn't have a better card for the energies that I've been sensing. And I think that many of us have been sensing. And this is art in the Crowley deck. It's temperance in your more common traditional tarot decks. And this card represents Sagittarius in astrology. It is my personal belief that Sagittarius is one of the most comprehensive signs. This card is one of the 2 most comprehensive cards in the deck. And this card you can see here represents, it might be clear even just looking at it, complete reconciliation of opposites. These cards were originally watercolor paintings. It's on my bucket list to see the original collection painted by Lady Frida Harris. She worked closely with Crowley. And in some of the books, we get little, you know, back then they would have communicated by letter a lot, right? And we get a lot of the letters and communication as this was being developed. But you can see that her head is masculine on one side, feminine on the other side, gold on one side, silver on the other side. The creatures, the lion and the eagle, are repetitive throughout this deck. We see them last in the Lovers card, and they were reversed. The colors were reversed in that card. We also would have in here the cauldron, the alchemical cauldron. And this to me represents the Holy Grail. And this Holy Grail is also the cauldron in our own our own Manipura, solar plexus area, the womb space. That womb space, whether you're man or woman, is our cauldron, our center of creativity. But this card, to me, there is a blog post coming whenever I have the time. This card representing complete reconciliation of opposites is the answer to all of the isms in the world. Truly understanding this card, if people can understand it, and this tells me that humanity is awakening. We're balancing, we're reconciling our opposites, we're claiming our power, we're recognizing the oneness consciousness that if any one of us is suffering, is in lack, if anything is triggering us in another, that it is something within ourselves that we need to recognize, honor, love, integrate, accept. And there is nothing outside of us that we can change. Every single thing can only be changed within. And as we go within and do this personal work and this transformation, we're doing it for all humanity. This card to me is one of the most beautiful, one of the most comprehensive. It also represents, as I was just talking about, interchange, transformation, alchemy. This cauldron represents alchemy, turning the dross into gold, and a quantum leap. Literally, this portal, this eclipse portal, is a quantum leap. I invite you solemnly to be certain at some point in the next, as soon as you can. We've just had the moon exact here, 1:34 p.m. Eastern time on May 5th. But we're definitely in the energy for a solid 48 to 72 hours after. So that's the most potent time to sit in the energy. If it's at all possible, hopefully we have a clear night again. Last night, the moon was magnificent. Get out in your bare feet under the moonlight. Be open. Open your psychic receptors. Intuitive information and downloads are coming through for all of us. Source codes are coming through. This is science, folks. This is not woo-woo. This is science. We have had an increase in solar flares regularly occurring. There have been massive solar flares. Those solar flares are actually source codes and light codes that can be translated by our geometric bodies. We are plasma beings. We have receptors. So, just tune in, whether it makes sense to you or not, and just say, I am receiving translations of light language in the clearest and most comfortable manner. We all have intuitive psychic receptors. They have been drowned out by the powers that have been. But as you become conscious, realize that these things that you think you hear, that small, still voice, things you see with your inner sight, things you feel when it's just a knowing, you feel it in your gut, you feel it somewhere in your body, things you sense, these are all your clairvoyances. So these are all being fully activated. Take a quantum leap, take that quiet time in the moonlight and just surrender. I am ready for the next level of activation, spiritual codes, my soul's purpose for being to become clear. I am a vessel ready, surrendering to source, surrendering to divine timing. In our number 3 is our conscious thoughts. It's the Queen of Cups. She is magnificent. So we've had a small card. The first one was the 3 of Pentacles, which is one of the small cards. There are 4 suits, just like in a deck of cards, but they represent the elements. We had a major arcana. There are 21 major arcanas in the tarot deck. sorry, 22. The Fool is 0, so that makes for 22. And then we have the Court cards. There are 12 Court cards. This is the suit of water, cups. The Queen of Cups is one of my favorite cards. She represents water in its watery form. These Court cards also relate to an I Ching. Part of the reason that I work with this deck is that it connects astrology, astronomy, the ancient Hebrew, Kabbalah, the I Ching, the ancient Chinese. It is an ancient source of holistic health. So the references, you can dive in and explore so much on your own. She represents, last month I wanted to say, she showed up in the reading, but she was in the unconscious. This represents to me, we all know, I think those of us who are tuning in here understand that divine feminine has been in the process of rising, right? Last month, she showed up in the reading in the unconscious. So she was being seated, really widely in the unconscious. And now she's being seated in the consciousness of humanity. And when she fully ripens in the consciousness of humanity and divine mother God, she also represents Isis. The lotus of Isis can be seen in here. Well, lotuses are kind of all over the card, and that represents the great mother Isis. She is robed and veiled by endless curves of light. Can you see those curves of light? She is resting upon a calm sea, and the calm sea conveys or mirrors almost unbroken the energy that she's conveying. This card represents stillness, receptivity. You can see the figure 8, this infinity symbol. If you join us in the daily sadhana, we work with sacred geometry in really powerful ways. And this is really reminiscent of our ascending Kabbalah, like we are the tree of light. We are God's seed, God particle, each and every one of us. There is so much beauty represented here, and divine feminine in the conscious. And this is also love, unconditional love. The moon is also representing the water element. The moon is feminine. I had in my dreams 2 nights ago, and a real message that during the energy of this moon and eclipse, which is very powerful, that there could be a big surge in what I believe in the dream was the Pacific Ocean. I'm not sure which body of water. It could have been all the bodies of water, but there could be a great surge in the waters due to this energy somewhere. And many of us are also working with dragon energy. And in my dream, the dragons were working, a whole team of dragons were working to calm the seas, to prevent a natural disaster. I'm not suggesting a natural disaster is going to occur. And I am suggesting the moon controls the tides. This is high intensity. The waters within you may be stirring up. You may be feeling all kinds of uncertainty. You may be feeling a shift between the worlds. She represents the veils between the worlds as well. And these veils are becoming thinner and thinner. And if you're new to energetic work, even spiritual work on some levels, it could be very disconcerting. Other nights in my dream time, I've been experiencing waves in my bodies. They have looked like water waves, but with like lines going through them. And then they have felt like scalar waves. And I don't even really comprehend what scalar waves are, but it's been, to me, it's been beautiful. And if you've ever done any kind of psychedelics or even work that like breath work, Kundalini, that takes you into altered states of consciousness. To me, it was like weaving in and out of these different states of consciousness. We're also multidimensional beings. So if this is new to you, I invite you to be excited and to playfully explore and to go between the veils. When you have that opportunity, if your first instinct is fear, uncertainty, or your mind wants to know what is going on here, take a breath, surrender to what's happening, take a step into that other side without fear, and open up to the quantum leap that is available to each and every one of us and the collective right now. I am not the least bit worried about the failing systems. I don't pay them any mind. I can't wait until they dissolve and disappear, because we are already setting up the new. Okay, the sun, I'm sorry, I get so excited about these readings. I know this has been so positive. The energy is just exciting and beautiful. In our unconscious thoughts, card number 4, you might even say, wow, that's a happy card. I mean, just breathe in. What do you get from the energy of this card? This card is the sun. It is the happiest card in the deck. You can see these twins. The twins were also in the art card. I didn't get to point them out. The twins recur throughout the entire deck. They kind of represent masculine and feminine. They go beyond that. They represent Jesus and Satan, who are really brothers. The devil is also another myth that we've been fed so that we demonize ourselves and others, and that we fear hellfire and death. The story of the devil is completely false. The devil is beautiful. The devil is Pan, leaping on the summits of the earth in ecstasy. Exactly what humans are meant to do. Be in joy, in ecstasy, fully utilizing these magnificent vehicles that we have for our spirit to experience an elemental body and an elemental world. You may notice all 12 signs of the zodiac are represented around the sun. Again, the energy waves. This is the energy that, again, in springtime, everything is growing, everything is being nurtured by the sun. I'm going to just consult one of my books here, for which I need my glasses. So it's highly creative energy, awareness, fulfilled love relationships, and that first love relationship that needs to be fulfilled, if it isn't already, is to be wildly, passionately, deeply, madly in love with every cell of your own body, with all of the wonders of you, the mysteries of you. I invite you to, every morning when you wake up, go to the mirror, touch yourself, hug yourself, compliment yourself, squeeze yourself, take a bath whenever you can, give yourself luxuries, and just fully embrace that. And then, you know, that's something like it's a choice every single day. Love is a choice every single day, whether it's with yourself or with others. But once you come fully into love with yourself, we also then reconcile the opposites, our own divine masculine, divine feminine within, fully balanced. When our feminine has risen and we've embraced her, then our masculine rises up. He provides the strength, the stability, the active part, Mars and Capricorn, for our creativity to be expressed freely. That masculine support comes right from within us so that your creativity is supported and becoming freely manifested. Abundance. This card represents abundance in all forms. Wisdom, spirituality, and transformation. Yep, folks, we are in an ongoing, long-term, not going to end anytime soon, transformational period. Embrace the changes. Be the change. Simple things. The only constant is change. but the sun is radiating as the center. You are also the center. Your center, your heart represents the sun being the center of the universe, the galaxy that we are in, right? Your heart represents the universe. As within, so without. From its interior blooms the rose of realization. And it represents a symbol of a liberated partnership between man and woman. But again, I'm speaking of masculine and feminine within, and then it occurs without. And this has been the energy since I've been doing this work in Costa Rica with the earth gridding, with the volcanoes. And not only in Costa Rica, that's just where I was, but the earth grids and the stargates are connected universally. The energy that's coming through is reconciliation of opposites on all levels, folks. And that's exciting because it leads to harmony amongst people, all people. Can you imagine a time when we are living harmoniously with one another? We don't even remember a time when there was war, and we're living reciprocally and regeneratively with our beautiful, incredible Mother Earth, who provides everything we need to be optimally healthy, wealthy, holy, happy, joyful. Brings me to card number 5. Something I forgot to mention. That 5 is a huge player. 5 is the number of change in numerology. We are on 5/5, May 5th, and I'm taking away the 2000 and look at 23. That's a third 5. Art is number 14, which also equals 5. Now we have in the 5th card, number 5, the 5 of Swords, defeat. 5s can be challenging in the tarot. It's that point of change. You know, the 3 is the materialization of an idea. The 4, things are pretty harmonious. There's steady progression happening. What happens as we grow? You know, we grow, and then you have a little step back, you know, a little regrouping, a little revisiting. The Swords is the mental realm, communication. We have Mercury in retrograde. This is also our past position. These are the energies of the past. We are at a time of change. We are at a time where communication can be challenging, right? Communication is probably the number one ingredient to a successful relationship, right? We've been talking a lot about trauma-informed communication, people beginning to recognize that when they're triggered, it's not something in the other person or something the other person has done. It's something that's being triggered and needs to be addressed and loved and affirmed and acknowledged and integrated. So integrating lessons of the past, learning new and better ways of communicating effectively with ourselves, the story we tell ourselves. Are you in victim mode anywhere in your life still? And if you are doing a complete disservice to yourself. Victim mode is a place of disempowerment. All it takes, literally all it takes, is a choice, a conscious decision that I am grateful for all of my experiences, which have shaped me into who I am. I am grateful for all of the lessons that I have learned from challenging experiences and relationships, and I am victorious. I love myself. I am proud of myself and my accomplishments, my highs and my lows, my struggles, my wins, my grief, my anger, and all of those experiences make me who I am today, ready to take a quantum leap into the Aquarian age, the age of cooperation, collaboration, communication, coherence. And this brings us to card number 6, which is the energy moving us forward. This is the energy moving us forward for the next 6 months and beyond. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. It's the Emperor. And what I've been feeling with this masculine, feminine reconciliation within, without, universally, collectively, on all levels, you know, the focus has been the feminine, because she was destroyed, defeated, obliterated, erased, slaughtered, raped, shamed. You know, in some places she's still veiled and subservient and abused. In our lifetimes, some of our lifetimes, those of us that are my age, somebody's grandmother and mother were made to kneel on gravel for speaking their language. This happened in Costa Rica that I know of. I'm speaking of the Taraba tribe. And this happened in our lifetimes. You know, divine feminine was obliterated. So we had to give her the space to rise, to be integrated in our subconscious, to be seated in our subconscious, to be integrated and manifested into the consciousness, the hearts of humans. This is happening through the waters. Once divine feminine is restored, and I believe that she is, now she can serve maybe her greatest purpose, supporting the masculine. That we support the masculine and feminine support each other. We just talked about how when the masculine is strong within, he within supports our creativity. We feel that security, stability, the action of the masculine to allow our creativity to be expressed and manifested. So this and the energy moving us forward, the Emperor represents the masculine in his supreme form. He represents all 4 elements, all 4 kings: earth, water, fire, and air, east, south, west, and north. I can't think of a more beautiful energy. The Lamb here represents to me the softer side of the masculine. He's got the ram on his staff. He's got the phoenix on his shield. He's sitting in the same shape, the figure 4, as the Hanged Man. But the Hanged Man is upside down. We've also got the ram in the background. The symbolism in these cards is really tremendous and powerful. And to me, this says that masculines everywhere are letting go of the old paradigm, the 3rd and 4th paradigm, that masculine has to be aggressive, competitive, has to win at all cost. For one to win and have wealth, 1 million have to lose and suffer and be kept down. When divine masculine is fully in his balance, we are so supported. Our goals moving forward. I'm just opening now to be reminded. It represents Aries, of course. I was trying to remember which sign. It's Aries, right? You can't make this shit up. We just had the Aries solar eclipse. We're still in Aries season, and this card represents Aries. Mars rules Aries. This is a pioneer, discoverer, leader, initiator, creative wisdom, great leadership. And this is what we embody. This is the energy we are embodying and taking with us forward into the next 6 months. So feel the masculine within you, free to express himself, his true self. Not that he has to wear a suit or, you know, the roles that we've been forced to believe in the old paradigm. But this creative wisdom and great leadership is available for all of us. Initiator, creative wisdom, urge for action. That's Mars and Aries. Adventurousness. Don't be afraid to take that quantum leap. We are supported fully in every single way. new beginnings, fatherhood, authority. Maybe you need to do some work around your relationship with your earthly father in this lifetime. Maybe you need to do some work around the idea that God was masculine only, and that Father God has let us down through the churches in some ways or some form. But whatever you've got to do, whatever's rising up for you to bring the masculine into healthy balance, to bring father, the archetype of the father, into complete balance, is the work that we're being asked to do with this moon. And the emperor is portrayed as a crowned man in a majestic gown. The affirmation, I trust my power. I rule by serving. I serve by ruling. And something I've been exploring is that we're fulfilled through our service. So if your work doesn't feel fulfilling, if what you're offering to the world or the exchange that you're receiving back from that doesn't feel in balance, these are the themes that you can be working with in the energy of this powerful moon. Okay, the card in the 7th position represents you and I. It represents us and how we are showing up. And again, we couldn't have a more beautiful card. One other thing I want to point out in this reading, we have 3 court cards. Every one of those court cards is in the suit of cups, the water element. Aries, where the sun is fire. Taurus, where the moon is earth. These cups that represent the moon, water, is really showing us a need to put unconditional love above all else, to be loving, like we talked about with the Queen of Cups, first with ourselves and then with others. And before we wrap up, I'm going to look at the I Ching for each one of these, because the court cards all refer to an I Ching. So I'm going to need to look that up. And this one, I'm sorry, is the Prince of Cups. So we have the Queen of Cups. Now we have the Prince of Cups. And the Prince represents, hold on one second. So the queens in all 4 of the suits represent the watery element of that suit that we are, that they're representing. So that's why the Queen of Cups, the queen is the watery part, and the queen also represents the watery element. This Prince of Cups, I'm finding him in the Crowley book, if you can give me just a moment. The Prince of Cups represents, so the princes represent the airy part, the mental realms. And all the princes are seen riding a chariot. So he represents the airy part of water. So on the one hand, it's elasticity, volatility, hydrostatic equilibrium. And on the other hand, it's the catalytic faculty and the energy of the system. So the energy of moving this love forward. The queen represented the veils of light and going between the realms. And he really represents the energy, the cataclytic, right? What's the cataclysm? That's a mechanism that moves energy forward. So collectively, we're being supported in moving forward with love over fear. Fear being a thing of the past. Recognizing fear as soon as it is coming up. We never, ever, ever make a good decision when it's rooted in fear. Fear causes us to retract, to sometimes completely hide, to become terrified. Maybe even the word that I'm looking for is escaping me, but paralyzed. Fear paralyzes. Love, freedom, non-judgment, giving and receiving in equal measure. And we've got the masculine energy represented here, again, by the prince. He is riding this magnificent bird for his chariot. He also, this card rules from the 20th degree of Libra, to the 21st degree of Scorpio. Of course, we've got the moon in Scorpio. It just never ceases to, amaze me how the cards come. Like, for example, the Emperor is Aries. We're in Aries, but the moon is in Scorpio. So, of course, we have the card that represents Scorpio. So he's partly clad in armor, which seems like it's growing on him rather than covering him. His helmet, you can see, is surmounted by an eagle, which represents our connection to spirit. And his chariot resembles a shell, but it's also drawn by an eagle. And his wings, much like the covering of the queen, almost look like gas, right? They almost look like clouds or the gaseous form of water. But this is a reference to his power of volatilization, understood in the spiritual sense. So again, moving forward with his spiritual love, we have the lotus again in his right hand. And in his left hand is a cup from which issues a serpent, the great sign of transformation. We talked about Wajet representing Uranus, who's opposing the moon. And in the I Ching, it's represented by the 61st hexagram Kung Fu. And like I said, before we wrap up, I'm going to consult the I Ching for these three cards. In the 8th card, this represents the energies coming to us from outside ourselves. And we have only our 3rd small card so far. So in this whole reading, we've got 1, 2, 3 small cards, 4 if we count the ace, but the ace is in a category all its own. 1, 2, 3 major arcana, which are the big energies, the longer lasting energies. And we've got 3, again, the symmetry here, 3, 3, 3, 3 small, 3 court, 3 major arcana, and then the ace, which is coming up, and that's in a category of its own. So here we have the 8 of swords, interference. And you can see the 2 major swords being crossed by all the other swords. And to me, this really felt like the powers that have been really working to disrupt those of us who are awakening, and those of us who have been on this path and are doing the work. We know the ways in which they are working to disrupt. What ways are they not working to disrupt? Chemtrails, glyphosate, poison in all kinds of ways, 5G, God only knows what that does, the towers that are everywhere, using the news as terrorism to incite fear and divide us, get us fighting over ridiculous things when their systems are collapsing. So that's all I want you to remember. When those systems collapse, it's not going to result in chaos, because the new systems are already being, and I will venture to say, have already been established. New Earth is a different dimension. Do I fully understand? No. Could there be more chaos, cataclysmic results, global tragedies? Of course. Am I worried? No. I'm filled with hope and joy and love, excitement for what we're creating. The sun in our unconscious. So when there's interference, drop into stillness, go within, take a breath, do a breathwork session. Join us for morning sadhana. I do not believe there is any greater investment that you can make in yourself than to adopt a dedicated, consistent morning practice in general, but specifically the power, the rapid results of a Kundalini yoga practice and the way that we're coupling it with sacred geometry and alchemy. We've all experienced major breakthroughs. We're all exceedingly grateful for the community, the growing community. We're healing and supporting one another together. And this is where we're headed as a collective. So I'm going to put a link to join us for morning sadhana every morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. The 9th position, our hopes and fears. You may have noticed this is another court card. This is the Knight of Cups. And again, I already mentioned that all 3 of our court cards are all in the water element, the cups element. And the Knight, I just love this so much in this position, because the Knight, you know, think about knights, maybe like I think first of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Some people say that's not real history. I choose to disagree. I just think maybe it's history in another dimension. But the Knight of Cups, so the Knights, I would venture to guess without remembering, represents the fiery part of the water, because they are the action cards, you know, and the Prince, who was down here in the position of you and I, has tasked his knight with taking this unconditional love into the world. Let your hope lie in nothing but unconditional love. Surrender to the love of the divine, the rapture of the divine, the ecstasy of the divine. And I promise you, you will have nothing to worry about. Be receptive. Allow. Bringing feminine and masculine into balance means that we don't have to drive and strive and fight for what we want. And I can assure you, I have driven so many people away in this lifetime because my Capricorn sun, coupled with the lessons that I personally came to learn, transcend, and transmute in this lifetime, man, I was in survival mode. I had no understanding of my self-worth and my self-value. I believed I had to do everything alone. And I've always had huge goals and ambitions. And I was the queen of self-sabotage. I found so many wonderful ways to always fall short, just short of really achieving the level of success in any area of my life. And now my masculine within has been getting to take a break, getting to be nurtured. And now he's coming into his right balance, supporting the feminine within me. And I say this using myself as an example, but this is the collective energy, and it will manifest differently in each of your lives and your circumstances, right? This is an invitation. Again, I'm going to ask you, because this is just so beautiful. Can you imagine this as a giant watercolor painting? Take a breath. What does this energy tell you? Where does this energy land for you? What are you receiving? So the Knight of Cups represents the fiery part of the water, which is what? The steam. Think of how steam whistles and roars, and the steam can make a train roll by at like 100 miles an hour, right? Steam cleaning is the most powerful way to clean anything. Swift, passionate attack of rain and springs. More intimately, water's power of solution. Think about that. Water's powers of solution. We can think of solution as a chemical. We can think of solution as the answer to a problem. We can think of disillusion, D-I-S-I-L-L-U-S-I-O-N, and dissolution, D-I-S-O-L-U-T-I-O-N. And in the same way, solution. The answer, the solution is love, fearlessly moving forward in love. His attributes, however, are mostly passive, even though he's a knight, which typically implies action. The watery part of him makes him more passive. He's quick to respond to attraction and easily becomes enthusiastic under such stimulus. So I would say move forward with love, but be cautious about maybe jumping into a fling if that's not what you're looking for right now. And in the I Ching, he represents the 54th hexagram, Kui Mi. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Okay, brings us to our final card. The outcome, again, I say could not be more fortuitous. This is an absolutely beautiful reading. In my estimation, we have the two most fortuitous cards in the deck. The Sun and our unconscious, which, supersedes, as I see it, the subconscious. So this means our subconscious is really getting cleared and cleaned. Those limiting beliefs are completely dissolving under the force of the sun, burning them away. Release them to the cosmos, to the central sun, and they will not come back. The outcome, the Ace of Pentacles. I mentioned that aces hold their own significance in the deck. Aces are new beginnings. It's the number 1. This is the suit of the earth element. We had the 3 of Pentacles in our number 1 position, which meant, we're working towards those goals. This one tells us a gift is coming to us from the universe. That quantum leap that was promised with both the art card and the Emperor card is being supported by gifts from the universe. This is the ultimate new beginning and materialization. Every single thing that you need is going to be available when you need it to support your soul's mission for being, to support your plans and your goals. Excuse me. So, sorry, I just want to consult here. It represents inner and outer wisdom. Again, those reconciliations of opposites, as within, so without. Inner and outer richness, great success, unification of the body and soul, our spirit completely integrating into every cell of our body. Material and spirit, heaven and earth wholeness. So just more structure to that reconciliation of opposites. The new earth really becoming manifest. Your visions for the future. My vision, growing a physical community in southwestern Pennsylvania, and also connecting with these global communities that are becoming, they're just springing up. I find a new one every day. We are doing it, folks. It's happening, and we're being fully supported. The symbol of this card. I don't know why.
I just said, yes, we are. Yes, we are, sister.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
thank you. Yes, we are.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
So the symbols are arranged in a cross. You can see the vertical and the horizontal. And it also looks very much like wings to me. The geometry in this card is beautiful. And that vertical cross, it represents to me, a slice of a tree, the rings of a tree. We can see time. I also see like butterfly or moth wings in the horizontal. So just again, I'm going to invite you to just breathe in the energy of this symbol. And looking to the very center there, we see the 6-pointed star of Venus, and then those concentric circles represent masculine, feminine, and creator. And we are the creator. We are the creator. We are the master manifester. Body and soul, too long set at odds, meet now in harmonic union. Now the body can be treated as the living temple of the soul. If you haven't been, or even if you have been, you can take that to the next level, right? There is so much symbolism in this card. I could truly go on for a really long time, but I'm just going to wrap it up here by saying the Ace of Discs mirrors your readiness to live a life that is inwardly and outwardly rich. We could change rich with abundant. All that is needed is already at hand. Give yourself up to the fullness of life and learn to use your wings. I can see so many wings in this image. Question for you. What areas of your life would you like to make richer, more abundant? And richer in what ways? Is it more love, more money? What would make you feel abundant, rich, secure? I'm working with my relationship with money, and I'm currently working with it with a wonderful global community that I will also put a link to, Matriarch. There are hundreds of courses available at a very low financial investment. You'll have access for a year, but many of us need work on our relationship with money. So a suggestion, work intensively on discovering and developing your potential, your inner wealth, and how you can manifest your inner wealth through finding fulfillment in your service, right? And remain open to every form of enrichment in your life. Abundance is all around us. Breathe in, breathe right into your heart center. Breathe out. Breathe in the pure golden energy of the sun right into your heart. Breathe it out to every being on our planet. And if you would like, repeat this affirmation with me. Wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and my creativity, my creative potential in this world. Okay, as promised, if you want to hang with me just a little bit longer, I'm going to share the beautiful wisdom that the I Ching will bring to us. I love the Mothering Change. There are many, many, many translations of the I Ching. Mothering Change is, it makes me cry, almost like just these tears of joy come. So remembering we're going to start here. We had the Queen of Cups in our conscious position. The Queen of Cups in the I Ching is the 58th hexagram. There are a total of 64 hexagrams in the I Ching. Oh, I love this translation. It represents, in this case, the marrying maiden, and the queen does represent the divine mother, Isis. Chastising closes the way and leaves no advantageous direction. Remember, Asian language is often a little bit different, right? Very poetic. And hold on to what is enduring and complete and use it to determine what is flawed. Don't think of it as a gradual buildup. Beware of imposing ideas and misconstruing the situation. Express yourself and connect through real feeling. I'll show you the image for this symbol. Again, these are also watercolors, right? It's kind of cool. So that image, The old character shows a luxuriant tree, a marriage procession with tasseled pennants and a kneeling woman whose head is filled with spirit. Radical shift, return to where you belong, yield to the force of spirit. And just remembering all of the reading, so much of this is just being, what do you say, expanded upon, affirmed, brought out in different ways, just a little deeper meaning. Fulfill your true destiny or hidden potential. Passionate, irregular relationships, desire, compulsion, a marriage brought about by forces beyond your control. And the heart theme is the ongoing process of change. And the last thing that I want to share, this always gives the voice of the mothers and the voice of the fathers. It also gives spring, summer, fall, and winter. And since we're in spring, I'll share that. Rouse new growth by leaving old ways behind, old paradigms. See ya. Let yourself be led. Remember, surrender to spirit. Spirit's got you. We're being subsidized by spirit. That came through to me in another message the other day, and I just love that. We are being subsidized when we're on the path of our soul's purpose, and we're doing that inner work, and we're surrendering. We are being subsidized by spirit. Worry not. Things may look dangerous, but have no fear. Everything you desire is there. Voice of the mothers, a radical change brought about by forces beyond your control. Uranus opposing the moon, big lunar eclipse in Scorpio, Pluto moving into Aquarius. Let yourself be led. Again, you can realize your hidden potential. Inner self-reflection now brings you a liberating awareness of the whole, that oneness consciousness. Gather the energy for a decisive new move and do not focus on spreading the blessings to all. Voice of the fathers. This is a realizing figure, a heart theme of change, and a site of intense mediating activity that connects the primary powers, the primordial powers of the universe, to personal life. It is an approach to centers of power in the stage of symbolic life when we must deal with power and our responsibilities to the human condition. So this means, to me, really embracing our own power, not fearing it any longer. Okay, moving on, the Prince of Cups, the position of you and I, and where we are with all of this, is represented the 61st hexagram. Opened heart, connect to center, Zhong Fu, centering and connecting to the spirits, little pigs and fishes, wise words. The way is open, advantageous to step into the great stream, that quantum leap, advantageous trial, right? Sometimes things aren't always easy. We know we're protected. We know we're subsidized by spirit. Connect your inner and outer goals. Release people from fear. Impose real directions. Beware of hasty judgment, one-sided policies, and personal greed. Old paradigm. Trust in honesty and clear communication. Focus on true ideals and the common good, and you will see the source of difficulties and how they can be overcome. The symbol shows an old character. The old character shows an arrow at the center of a target and the claws of a bird of spirit protecting her child and grasping her prey. Connect inner and outer, connect your life to spirit. Sincere, truthful, reliable, verified, a heart at peace. A stable point that lets you face the vicissitudes of life. Incubate, hatch. The heart theme is clearing the channels. Voice of the mothers. Stabilize and calm your heart. open an inner space where you can listen to the spirit voices and connect your inner and outer lives. Inner self-reflection now lets you acquire a place where you can influence the world you live in. This is a time to overcome oppression through hidden connections. Do not focus on enveloping and protecting your immature new life. Voice of the Fathers. This is an inspiring figure and an engine of change that recharges our existence with meaning and energy. It is a gate to the final stage of symbolic life, birth into the life of the spirit and passage across the river of life and death, where significance of life is revealed and the meaning of life and the vastness. We are not meant to be small. We are meant to be all in every way. And lastly, to wrap us up here, in the position of our hopes and fears, again, we had the Knight of Cups, really empowering us to fearlessly move forward with unconditional love for all life. 54th hexagram. Oops. Well, I read the 54th hexagram for the Queen of Cups. That was the Knight. Doesn't really matter. We're going to read the 58th hexagram, which was the one for the Queen. The 58th hexagram and everything has its purpose and meaning, and I'm certain it was meant to be read in this order and shared in this order. Open, mediator, Dwi, express yourself, make an offering, and you will succeed. So I already know this is how we were meant to close out. For this full moon, please, please dedicate time just for yourself. Ritual connects heaven and earth. Ritual ceremony isn't anything to be feared, and it is not meant for religious leaders alone. When you learn to live ritually, you're going to just have your socks blessed off. So I want you to make an offering. It could be anything from writing down the things that no longer serve you and burning them up in a fire later. It can be taking a beautiful walk in nature and gathering little sacred objects, seeds, rocks, whatever appeals to you. You can make a mandala with those beautiful treasures. Make an offering and you will succeed. Advantageous trial. Spread the word through inspiring words and images. Promote, explain, repeat, and do not pull back. An unfeeling atmosphere will undermine vitality. Communicate positive feeling, togetherness, enthusiasm, joy, and laughter. The image is quite beautiful. I kind of see the goddess sitting in the middle there. We'll see how they describe it. The image, the old character shows a person with an upturned face and open mouth, and the words of the spirit rise from it. Expression, communication, opportunity, spread the word, interact, interpenetrate, open a passageway, joy, excitement, pleasure, persuasive, responsive, freed from compulsion, the marketplace, free exchange of information, gather, exchange, barter, trade, sexual stimulation, and the power of inner images. Establish the dwelling. Voice of the mothers. Open communication and express the spirit joyously. Cheer people on, right? Share a kind word everywhere you go. Use persuasive words to liberate hidden feelings. Inner self-reflection now gives you the ability to express spirit in the human community. That was repeated in the night. Personally confront danger again and again. Do not focus on assembling and leading people. For spring, rouse new growth through joyous communication. Host gatherings for alliances. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Voice of the Fathers. This is a realizing figure and a spirit helper. It empowers the sacred sickness pathways that connect personal disorders with cultural change, and is a mission of the stage of symbolic life when we must deal with power and our responsibilities to the human community. Again, that was another theme repeated. So I'm super grateful, really fun to share this live. And no matter when you find this video, there is meaning in it for you. I'm going to put some links below. Well, just email me for now until the page is set up, and we'll send you a link to the morning sadhana practice. Give it a try. I think you will receive countless, it'll help in every area of your life. Also, I'll put a link to Matriarch, the beautiful online group that is helping mostly women, but I think anyone could join with your relationship around money. A lot of great courses there. And I just wanted to show you the very last card. This is from the Lemurian Star Child Oracle. Beautiful golden dragon. And this to me represents the overarching energy of this reading. Sovereignty to me equals freedom, liberation. What it says here at the bottom is right to choose and immunity to hooks, which I think is interesting, but hooks or triggers, right? And we talked about that a little bit. Sovereignty, being fully 100% responsible for yourself, your life, exactly where you are. And if there is anything that you do not like about it, it is only by going within you that the changes will come. But the time is now. Quantum leaps, unconditional love. Post here and let me know what your full moon ritual or ceremony was, what your offering was. Let's create a real connected community in many ways. Blessings and love, beautiful beings. Hope to be with you again very soon.